You need to,
Sorry.
no, you're fine. You need to cut down the time that it takes you to go from the idea phase to the actual execution action phase. So the longer amount of time that you spend between there, that procrastination, right, of not doing anything, the less likely it is that you're actually going to end up completing this idea. So has anybody in here like had an idea that they kind of started working on and then didn't, and then it just never ended up happening? Feel free to like put your hand up or unmute.
Yes. And I can say another thing to add to that is doing too much at once and then you never get to finish it because you get sidetracked too often.
Yes, a really good way to balance that would be just having some adding some extra organizational skills to your life, right? So if you have a lot of ideas, there's nothing wrong with having a lot of ideas. You can write all those ideas and you can actually accomplish all of those ideas too. But like you said, you have to pick one idea at a time, or at least like if you do a couple of the ideas at a time, you have to know yourself, right? You have to know like, am I a multitasker type of person? Do I get sidetracked easily? And that'll let you know if you just need to focus on one vision at a time. And that vision that you're focusing on, it should be the one that you're the most passionate about, right? It should be the one that you clearly have a defined why of when you do this, of why you want to do this. And that why is not centered on, well, I just want to make money. So I feel like that can be another way to start breaking down these ideas. Which of these ideas has always been your dream of something you wanted to do, or that you're super passionate about, or that you would do for free if no one ever even decided to pay you? Those are the ideas that you want to focus on first. Anything outside of that can kind of be on the back burner, or can disappear. Because if you're not getting into the business realm to help people, then you're getting into it for the wrong reason, and you may not last long anyway, because the money comes, the money goes. And if it's not something you're passionate about, when the money goes, you're going to go right with it. You're going to be like, oh no, this is not for me. You're not going to have you know the you're not going to have that foundation of why you want to stick it out, regardless of if you're making money or not. So something else that I also want to dive into is just making your goals more realistic. So something that I found typically like holds people back from executing their idea is they just make the idea so big that it's just not realistic anymore. So a great way to look at this is, so with my production company, we produce music videos, right? On, like a smaller scale of music videos, like local artists. Sometimes when we talk to the artists, they're like, okay, here's what we need. We need a helicopter. We need a shark tank. And they start naming all these super amazing things. So what I'll do is I'll take all those ideas and I'll turn them into something we can actually do, right? And I'm like, okay, we can't get the helicopter, right? But we can go to the selfie museum and use the fake plane that they have. We can't get the Shark Tank, but we could go to an aquarium and take some videos. So that's how you have to do with your ideas. Instead of focusing on like, oh, I don't have the helicopter, I don't have this, so I just can't do the music video. Um, Start breaking it down to like, okay, well, what could I do now? Right? I could film here now, and that would be close to my vision. Um, and I feel like that brings us back to what someone said on here. Someone referenced just lack of resources altogether. I always tell my clients personally to just do what you can with what you have. Me and Miss Temet just had a conversation this morning about how I feel like when I tell people that, they're always like, well, Q, you film all your videos on this high quality, and you know how to edit. I don't really know how to edit like that. I also film most of my videos on my phone. And when I first started my company 4 years ago, I had like the iPhone 6, and everybody else I think was on maybe like the 12 at this time. And I was my phone was beat up, scratched up, videos was blurry. I still was posting the videos. It doesn't matter. Like I still posted my videos every single day. And that's how I got to where I was now. I didn't let looking at what other people had affect how I showed up for my community, because then I would just end up not doing anything. And a lot of times we use that as a reason to not do nothing. We're like, well, I don't have the equipment, I don't have this, I don't know how to do that. So I'm just wait till I get that stuff. And now it's been a year and you still haven't done anything towards this idea that you said that you were really passionate about. So, just making sure that you're adding that organizational element to your house and you're being realistic with your ideas. So we've moved to slide 7 now. Oh, it looks a little different on my side. Oh, okay. There we go.
Which
That's
one?
better.
Is this
You're on
here?
slide 7, right? On mine, I guess on my side, the little cute picture there is like blocking
Okay.
what the words say, but I can see it on your side.
This one here?
Okay. Can you bring the points back up? Yes. That's perfect. So have you had a situation before where they may have not had the exact resources that they wanted to do something, but you were still able to pull it off with what you had? Does anyone have an experience like that they'd like to share?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, of course. Has anyone had an experience in here where you may have not had all of the pieces that you wanted, right? But you were able to still do something productive?
Yeah, I can share an example.
Yes, please.
This actually just happened this past weekend. So I had did a vendor event, and one of the things that I learned from a workshop that I just attended on how to do vendor events better was to have a way to collect people's email addresses so that you can get them, on your mailing list so that you can continue to market to them or whatever. Well, I didn't have time to do all of that because I had a lot of stuff going on. So what I did was, instead of getting a piece of paper and writing people's names down, I didn't want it to be too antiquated. I got a job form online and I just downloaded the link onto my phone, and I made a quick little form for them to just put their name and their email address. And every time I sold something, I asked them if they wanted to join the list, gave them the phone, they typed in the information, and literally today, the market was on Sunday. It took me some time, but literally today I downloaded the list of all the names and uploaded it to the email marketing that I'm going to use. And boom, I got it done. Now,
You got
moving
it
forward,
done.
of course, we want to be able to just already have it in place so we don't have to keep doing it manually. But, I used what I could because I didn't have no money to pay for nothing. And I needed it to be free and I needed it to be fast and easy.
No, that is literally the perfect example of done is better than perfect, right? A lot of times we can let perfectionism hold us back from what we need to do. And like you said, you could have just sat there and been like, well, I don't have that thing that they were talking about, so I just can't do this. No, you was like, what's another way that I can go about this? How can I make this more realistic for me where I'm at in this time period right now? And I love that quote you just put, Miss Smith. You wait for the perfect conditions, like you'll be waiting forever. Me personally, I have 2 rules in life that I live by, which is number 1, don't hate on nobody, and number 2, don't wait on nobody. I feel like, you spend your time waiting on these opportunities, waiting on these different things, they may never come. You have to actually go out there and make some of these opportunities happen, which is, kind of another conversation, but it still fits into that making your ideas happen, right? How passionate are you about the idea? Like it really comes right back to that. Why are you doing what you do? I think someone referenced like the information, like not knowing what to do next. Information is free and it's everywhere. There's a bunch of information on YouTube. There's a bunch of information on Google. There's a bunch of information in books. Sometimes the books do cost money, but even if you're not in that position yet where you're like, oh, I can't really invest in, these ebooks and courses, there's still YouTube University. There's still Google. So there should never be a point in time in you doing your entrepreneur journey where you just sit there and you're like, I don't know what to do. Because to me, that means that you need to go back and assess what your why is. Why are you doing this? Because the information is for free. I actually just had a call with a potential client yesterday who, we was trying to get to the bottom of like what services he actually needed. And when we got further into it, we realized that he actually hasn't really invested into his idea himself, right? And if you won't invest into your idea, it gets hard to get other people to invest in your idea. So I'm asking him these certain questions, and he's like, "Oh, well, I don't know," or, "I wouldn't know." Da, da, da. And, there were things that he could just have Googled. So I'm like, so what is it that you're really looking for? Because, you're coming to me for a coach, but it sounds like you haven't done any of the work yourself to look into these things. So I feel like a lot of times we have to ask ourselves, is the thing that we think that we want the thing that we really want? And the only reason I say that is because a lot of times we think that we want something, but we're not actually willing to do what it takes to have those things. An example of that would be, and I give this example all the time, I really thought I wanted to do a fashion show last year. I was like, yeah, fashion show. I'm gonna do a fashion show. It's gonna be amazing. And I didn't know what it took to do a fashion show. So I started looking into it. I had a couple of friends who did fashion shows. I called them up, hey, doing a fashion show, partner with me on this fashion show. They started asking me all these questions. They said, okay, cool. Well, we gonna have to have a date for the designers to meet. They're gonna have to measure out models, then they're gonna have to have the practice dates. And they just started naming all this stuff. And I said, you know what? I don't want to do fashion shows. I realized that, I was honest with myself and I was like, all that stuff you just said, I actually don't want to do any of that. I don't want to have all these extra days to meet up. Like, why can't we just meet at the fashion show? Just do the fashion show. So just that assessment though of like, okay, I'm actually not willing to do these things for this because I would love to do a fashion show, but I'm not passionate about fashion shows. That's not really what I do with my company. That would have just been something on the side for fun that I would have wanted to do, but I actually just didn't want to do the work for it. So if you ever find yourself in that position, just start analyzing like, is this what I really want? Because if it was what you really wanted, you would have Googled this, you would have Googled that, you would have looked this up, you would have talked to this person, versus just being like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Next slide, please. And feel free if anyone wants to make a comment on what I said, feel free to chime in and share an experience at any point.
I actually wanted to share something. I think sometimes, when we have those moments of feeling stuck, I think those are the great times to really pause and think, who do I know that can do this or has access to this or may know somebody else who can do it? And those times where I've daggone about broke down trying to figure it out by myself and actually stopped and thought about the people who I already know in my network. I'm like, why am I working myself so hard? I already know somebody who can put this flyer together or who can do this website or send this email and it'll take them 2 seconds. So I think it's just a matter of, any obstacle that we face, it can be overcome. And it's just literally believing that and then executing on that idea and turning it into action. So whether we have to talk to somebody else to make the action happen or it's us actually, doing it ourselves, but there's no obstacle that we can't overcome. Anybody else would like to share anything about a time you may have had to make some stuff shape?
I will. So during the pandemic, I was not working and I didn't work for about a year and a half. I've always been into like natural skincare and organic food and things. Someone bought me a soap making kit for like a gift or something. And I was like, God, I need some money coming in here. I gotta pay my rent. So I took that soap kit and I made like 10 bars of soap with it. And me and my daughter went door to door and we sold each bar for like $8. I made like $100 that day. And I liked making the soap so much that I started like a little small handmade soap business and made sales on TikTok. And I had no experience at all.
Yo, that's crazy, Courtney. And what's even crazier is that we have the audacity to be faced with a new challenge and be looking like, how am I gonna do this? And if we just take a minute to think about all the wonderful things that we have done before, you took that from the invisible world. The soap won't here. The soap was just over there. And you brought it into reality, made it real, and then you served the people. You served the people, and with serving the people then served you. And I think, hold on to that mindset. QA can really go far. Okay, what slide we on, Q?
We
Kwani.
on slide 8.
Sorry, I be liking to see y'all faces.
No, you're fine.
All right. Do you want me to show the video for the fixed versus growth mindset?
Yes.
We do have it. All righty. And then put a 1 in the chat if you already know about the fixed versus growth mindset. And let me get to this YouTube video. Let me make sure I share the volume. Can you hear? Can you guys hear it? I don't know. Can y'all hear?
No, we
Okay,
can't hear.
thank you. Okay, thank you. Because I'm like, I can't. All right, here we go. It's coming.
Types of mindset we can cultivate. One that embraces problems as opportunities to learn, and one that avoids them, often out of fear to fail. People that avoid conflicts can be described as having a fixed mindset. Those who see problems as interesting challenges have a growth mindset. Sometimes we like to switch from one to the other. People have a fixed mindset because they believe that basic qualities like intelligence or talents are fixed traits, and that these traits are responsible for success. They often like to document past achievements. With a growth mindset, people believe that new abilities can be developed through practice. This view creates the love for learning that most great leaders and artists have in common. For them, life becomes an exciting journey with endless opportunity to figure out new things and advance. To develop a growth mindset, Dr. Carol Dweck, the Stanford University professor who coined the term, advises leaders, teachers, and parents to celebrate trying. Teachers should applaud students for any grade if they studied hard. Parents should encourage their children to develop any new skill they are interested in. Doing this will make them learn the skill of learning, which will also help them back in the classroom. To illustrate the difference in everyday life, let's observe 2 imaginary kids. Jay thinks you've either got it or you haven't. Anne knows that she can learn anything if she wants it enough. At physical exercise,
You are still muted, Ms. Temet.
Okay, I can share that with you guys to finish watching. I don't want to take up too much more time. Q, but I think y'all got the gist.
Yes, I think that, mindset is why we're here, because mindset is one of the biggest aspects of being an entrepreneur. I personally always say that I feel like one of the most challenging parts of everything is the mental battle that you go through when it comes to just, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, the natural ebb and flow of things. But, like Ms. Temet said earlier, all actions derive from thoughts. So when you really have that confidence and you really believe in yourself that you can do something, you take the necessary actions to get it done because you feel like it can actually happen. But it's like when we feel like that these dreams are not realistic, it is sometimes hard to get started and to take the necessary steps because we're like, yeah, that'd be nice, but there's no way I could actually, quit my job and be a business owner. There's no way I could actually make six figures and do this and that. And that is what's holding you back from actually executing some of these things. So like on the presentation here, it says like not wanting to look dumb. Okay, so even when it comes to just like looking corny or looking dumb, I want to specifically reference content creation when I talk about that. I feel like a lot of times when it comes to content creation, we see these funny, silly videos, and there's still like a genre of people that would be like, oh, that's lame, and they're posting those videos, that's corny. But the whole time people posting those videos are monetizing their accounts. They're making sales from those videos, or they're getting paid directly from brand deals from those videos. So it's like, you can't pay attention to how other people feel, or even sometimes how you feel. Like you feeling like a video is corny, but then you post. I have a video now where I'm not the best at. I haven't been the best in the past at making videos where I talk directly to the camera. And even though that's something that I haven't been good at, is something that I'm like, I know I need to do this, so I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm going to practice doing it. And I made this video. I thought it was really bad, posted it on TikTok, and then it was kind of too long for Instagram. So I posted on Instagram anyway, but kind of half of it got cut off. I finished it because you can only post like, that 60 seconds on there. And I was like, damn, half the video got cut off. It's just not good. I didn't really edit it. Long story short, I ended up getting 2 of my first sales for my digital product from that video I posted. And I think that that's the perfect example of just because you don't think that it's amazing or that it's, the best that it could be, it doesn't mean that there's not value being added to your audience or target audience, or even just value to yourself, because that's something that you put out there to tell people about what it is that you have going on. So I do believe that that mindset is really big. On this, fixed mindset chart also says like ignore criticism and learn from criticism. I love that. If you can't take criticism, it's going to be a hard industry. Being a business owner is going to be a hard field for you to get into, because you need to know how to take criticism from clients, etc. Especially clients. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with them, but at least be able to be reflective enough to try to understand where they're coming from and try to make changes based upon that. Like, even if it's just, okay, I could have communicated a little bit better, right? You write that down so you can be better. And there's even if somebody criticizes you as something you don't agree with, it might make you think of something else that you're like, okay, I don't really agree with that, but you made me think of this other thing that I actually could have done better. And then I want to come back to that confidence thing when it comes to the criticism, right? When you built up that self-confidence in yourself, like certain things just it's not going to bother you to a certain extent, especially if the criticism is coming from people who don't do what you do. I've received a good amount of, everyone's received criticism in life, whether you're a business owner or not, right? That's just inevitably going to happen. But what I noticed is a lot of times when it comes to like business specifically, a lot of the people who give me like the unsolicited criticism or the unsolicited random advice are people that have no experience in what I do at all. And they're not trying to help me at all. So take that into account, right? If someone's criticizing me, or they're just offering unsolicited advice, a question that I ask that usually changes the temperature of the conversation is, as soon as I get the advice, I say, first, I thank them. Well, thank you so much for this. And then I follow up with, is this coming from a place of experience? Start asking people if what they're telling you is coming from a place of experience, and watch the conversation end. Because a lot of times, people are just saying, I don't know, just anything, I guess. But what it is it's not coming from a negative place sometimes. Sometimes what I realized it is people just want to be included in what you have going on. Even if they have nothing, they don't know anything about it, they want to be included. So they're like, well, how can I add value to this? Let me think of something I'm going to say. And if you take that too much to heart, now this person just threw you off, right? And they don't even know what they're talking. They don't even they've never done what you do. And you're taking what they said to heart, like, dang, I got to change my whole thing. And they've never even read an article on what you do. So that's a really big thing to help with criticism. Also, like I said, just being confident in yourself. And I did want to add one more point to that before I open the floor up for anyone else to add comments. You have to be confident in your own decisions. As an entrepreneur, you reach a certain point in your career where, yes, I think that, of course, customer feedback is necessary. I think that getting feedback from people is important sometimes so you can see how you can tweak and add more value to things, right? But I do think everything in moderation. I think that you can try to get so much feedback from those around you that you end up losing sight of the mission, right? You're the one with the vision, you're the one with the why. So you're the one who knows a little bit more about how you should go about things. So you can't always ask other people because everyone's going to pull you in a different direction. For example, who here has asked advice or just asked for feedback from something that they did or made, and you asked multiple people and everybody gave you a different answer? Raise your hand if that's happening. So after you got all them different answers, guess what? You still didn't know what to do. You still was like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to make the final decision. So it's like you threw yourself off by even asking all those people. Have a couple people maybe that are your go-to people to ask, and make sure that they align with the industry as well. It also kind of defeats the purpose if you're asking people who just either are not your target audience or they have no experience in your field. Those are not the right people to constantly be looking to for validation, because how are they going to validate you about something they don't know about? So be confident in your decision making skills. If you have a decision, make it. A lot of times people don't really understand things until they have results anyway. So I would personally just do what you got to do to start getting some results and then start sharing it with people so they don't throw you off. I also do feel like the circle around you can affect your confidence. You have to be around people that speak life into you. You have to be around people that understand what you do, because that will affect you and that will affect your confidence. And as you know, confidence will affect your money. And what I mean is, I'm talking about that cousin, I'm talking about that boyfriend, girlfriend, that the mom, the dad, the sister, the brother. I'm talking about that person that every time you tell one of your ideas to, they get super dry, or they be like, "Oh, that's nice. I guess like that's what you're doing with your time." Like, you gotta stay away from them people. If you know how they are, you gotta stop telling them your ideas, man. They're bringing you this energy that you don't need that. So I'm not saying that they're bad people. They just don't understand what you got going on. But when you pull up with them results, I bet you that conversation with them is going to be looking a lot different. I'm going to open the floor up now before we head to the next slide. Does anybody want to add to that, any of the points that I made, or just share any stories in regards to that?
I think that
Especially, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Liv.
no, I think you made some very valid points. I love what really struck out to me is, because you hear it, you get that a lot, right? About the people coming with the unsolicited advice. And I don't think a lot of people think about that. Like, are they coming from experience? Because you get challenged a lot of with a lot of that. I more so don't really do a lot of I do a lot of spaces and audio rooms and networking rooms, whatever you want to call it, where people are spouting off, business advice and knowledge, and sometimes tearing down other folks that make comments or have opinions about different things sometimes in terms of business, but sometimes in terms of topics in general. And it's an interesting perspective and it's an interesting response to just to think, well, are you coming from experience? Do you actually have experience in this? Because I think so many times people get really, in their emotions and their feelings when they're hearing something contrary to what they believe, and or what they view as a criticism, and then they get all upset. And it's just such an easy way of looking at it and even putting it back to the person. Well, are you coming from experience? Do you have experience in this? Because like you say, it could stop the conversation real quick, because if they don't and they're just being a naysayer, they won't have anything to back up what they're saying. So just a very different, it's a very interesting perspective of how you deal with just negative feedback in general, especially with business, because there is good constructive feedback that you should take in consideration. And then there's feedback because what you're doing is something they can never do. And so they have to find a way to tear it down, and knowing the difference and having the discernment to know which is which. That is extremely important, because I don't think we should never not be willing to accept feedback, but accepting feedback, as you said, from someone who actually has lived experience with what we're doing and can show us the right way or the right path, versus someone who's just kind of talking out there behind, like, and they don't really have that, but they just think they're a know-it-all and they know everything. So that's a very important, is understanding the lens in which they speak from.
I wanted to add something about an experience of like talking too much to people about your plans or your ideas and how that can throw you off. I know when I was doing it, the negative for me was that people were so focused on what they saw as a vision for me versus actually listening to me about what I wanted for myself. And then me knowing that I had issues with people pleasing, I found myself doing things that went against the direction that I actually wanted to move in. And then so I was pouring all this energy into doing something, and it was growing, but it wasn't even what I wanted to do. And so then when I wanted to stop doing this thing, I had already built up an audience. I already had customers, and now people finna be upset with me because I'm finna pivot away from this thing that I should have never agreed to do in the first place, all because I'm consulting with people and letting them guide my vision instead of telling them, this is what I want to do. It's not negotiable. What do you guys, do you have any insight on how you can help me? Or maybe just not even talking at all. I got to a point where I realized I just need to shut up and stop talking to people because people throwing me off. And now I'm out here doing stuff I don't even want to do. So that was a big lesson for me. Just shut up talking and just do what you gonna do, and let people see the growth and the come up. And if they want to add a few 2 cents, then fine, but don't be going off and asking for people to guide you when you already know where your heart is. Just do it.
I love that.
Thank you.
Does anyone else want to share?
I just want to say, thank you. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it Quanice?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. The statement you made as a response to criticism, thank you for the feedback, but this is coming from a place of experience. Just on my 9 to 5, I deal with criticism from my supervisor, who has to proofread all of my work. I write the newsletters and I create the social media content. This person has no experience writing newsletters, no experience creating content, no experience with social media, but is always criticizing me. And I've been doing this for this organization for a year, and she just got there. So a lot of what you said is kind of helping me shift my mindset and not, take things personally, because I'm the expert and I see that this person is really just trying to, I guess, have power or be in control of the situation, which is one of the reasons why I desire entrepreneurship so bad, because I don't like having people control me and tell me what to do when I know that I'm gifted and talented in my work.
Yes. And, I also feel like it's a very professional statement as well. Like, hey, thanks so much. Is this coming from a place of experience? Like, just genuinely curious. Like, is it? And then, I love the look on the person's face when they're like, well, no. Because now we both look stupid. Because I'm standing here listening to you for an hour and you're standing here telling me for an hour.
It's professional, but I definitely feel like people's feelings gonna be hurt. You say that to them, like, okay, thank you, but is this coming from a place of experience?
And here's the thing. I think that if someone asking them if something's coming from a place of experience hurts their feelings, hopefully that's like putting them in check in a sense. Like, hopefully they went home and reflected, like, oh, wow, I stood there telling someone an hour about something that I actually had no experience in. Because that in itself is kind of insane when you think about it. So maybe they can go home and reflect on why they feel the need to do that.
I think that's the perfect way to check somebody. I'm gonna start using that tonight.
We're
I'm gonna
gonna
start
start
using
cutting
that.
people up like, thank you. I love that. But
Mm.
is this coming from a space of experience, or are you just talking out the side of your neck?
Mhm. I love it.
Yes. Yes. And I love the point that was made about just learning how to distinguish between like helpful criticism and people who literally just are projecting their own fears and doubts onto you because they feel like they can't accomplish what you're accomplishing. Or even just, the people who tell you that it's going to take you a really, really long time, another projection. Everybody's journey is different. Like, I do think that it takes hard work, but I've been in this field for about 4 or 5 years now, and I'm still pushing. I've had peers come into this field, a year ago and skyrocket past me. So it's really no timeline on your journey. I'm a very spiritual person, so I talk about God a lot. God is the only dictator of what your journey looks like and how long it's going to take you to get there, um, and how much work you're going to have to put in. Everyone's journey kind of looks different with that. But with that being said, Ms. Smith, I'd love to go to slide 10.
I'm getting there.
Take your time.
Okay.
And also, Ms. Smith, let me know like if I'm a little over time when I need to wrap up.
It's over. It's a little over.
Okay, we're gonna wrap this up then, guys. We're gonna wrap this up with this last couple little slides. So I did want to ask this question here that says, time is currency that we all have. How can you overcome the lack of time as an entrepreneur? What sacrifices must you make to achieve your goals? So I think that I'm gonna speak to, well, first, actually, I'll speak to like the entrepreneurs, right? The people who work jobs full time, but they also have their entrepreneurs endeavors on the side. So when I was in that space, you know, I was hungry. I wanted this. I wanted to be a full time entrepreneur. I wanted to get to the next level. So I would, work all day, come home, and work on my business all night to 1, 2 in the morning. And if you're someone that does work a job, that's the type of dedication that you need to have. That's the type of hustle, the hungry, and that's really going to come from your why of why you're doing what you do. Because what's going to happen is you're going to be really tired from work, and work's going to just drain so much of your energy that you're going to get home and you're going to be like, I don't want to work on my business. I'm trying to just eat dinner real quick, maybe read my book, watch Netflix, and go to sleep. Right. But if you really want to get to that next level, that's just not the mindset that it takes. That's not what you can't do that. You can't do that and still get to where you want to be. So you're really gonna have to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, how bad do you want it? And that period of time when you're having to do both, just look at it as a temporary time. Look at it as you're using your job so you can invest in your endeavors. I don't recommend to entrepreneurs that they just dive straight into full-time entrepreneurship anyway, because businesses take money, right? So if the business is not initially making a bunch of money, you need to have some money that you're able to funnel into this company, or you're just setting yourself up for a lot of hardships, right? I jumped straight into full-time entrepreneurship really fast, and I had a lot of good experience from that, but I also went through a lot of things that I probably wouldn't have had to go through if I would have just kept my job on the side. So that is what I recommend to everybody. And then, oh, I'm sorry, got a little off topic. So with your time, right? So now let's get into full-time entrepreneurship. So say you got to that point where you did quit your job and you're like, nah, I'm going full in with my business. You have to know how to structure your days. I meet a lot of entrepreneurs that are just jumping into it, and I feel like they end up not being successful because they're not used to being in environments where they don't have somebody telling them what they need to do. So they spend their days just very unstructured, and they end up being very busy but not productive. I meet a lot of very busy people that aren't productive at all. They're always doing something. They're always on the go. They're always working on something, but nothing ever really gets done. And I'm like, how? I don't understand. Like, reflecting on your busyness and asking yourself, like, okay, am I actually being productive with all the stuff I have to do? I think that the 80-20 rule is a really good rule to look at when it comes to this, right? The 80-20 rule is 20% of your time should be making 80% of your income. And how you do that is write down what you spend your day doing and then separate the things that are actually the big money making skills from the tasks that you have to do all day, right? And you're going to realize a lot of those tasks that you spend a lot of that time doing are not the big money making, they're not the big money making things. You got to
Courtney,
spend
can you hit that one more time? Write down what you do. What now? Write down what?
Hey, I
the
was about to
80
say the same thing. We need
the
to run that
it's
back.
the 80-20 rule. 20% of what you do should make 80% of your income, and you have to write down everything that you have to do in your daily life, and then separate the big money skills from that. Write in a separate list, these are the things that earn me big money, right? So now go back through the list and be like, okay, I'm spending too much time doing these things that aren't generating the money. You got to go back to that other side. Okay, I'm gonna spend a little time doing this, a little time doing that. But this list right here of the big money stuff, if you focus on that big money stuff and you start bringing in more money, now that other list, like Tamet said, you can start outsourcing some of that. That other list over there of the stuff that don't make you money, now that you're focused on the big money and you're making more money, now you can start paying people. Miss Jamila?
That's incredible, Quanice. That is incredible. And when you do this, just to put my little 2 cents in there, because I heard some people say that they struggle with procrastination. This helps you to overcome procrastination as well if you are struggling with procrastination. So that's good stuff, Quanice.
Yes. And let me give, Miss Akile.
So how do you decide what your big money making things are? Because I feel like I'm in this space right now where I'm working so much that by the time I'm ready to work on business, I'm like, damn, I'm drained, and I gotta try to get some rest so I can jump back up and do this all over again.
Yes, I understand. Let me give you an example, and I think that may help. So, for example, I love making content on social media. If anybody follows the QMF agency page, I do have an assistant that posts on that page, but majority of the time it's me making those reels and posting on that page. So when I make those reels, a lot of times I'm trying to add value to the audience, but some of those reels I'm making because I'm trying to sell something on that page, right? I have a business. Businesses need to make money. So when I make those videos on Instagram, that video might take me like an hour or two altogether, as far as like the idea, the creation, the if I do want to edit it a little bit, to the actual caption that I take my time with, to the post. That's like 2 hours out of my day that I spent on that one post, right? So I had to break down how I was spending my time. And I realized to myself, I said, okay, when I spend 2 hours on this post, usually if I make a sale on my actual Instagram page, it's going to be a sale that's under $300, you know, overall. Like it's either going to be a digital product that's $15 or it's going to be my social media boot camp that's $150. It's going to be a sale that's under $300. $300 does not pay my bills, right? So when I analyzed that, I said, I'm spending a lot of time making these videos that are going to pay me under $300 when I know that my big buck clients, my clients that pay me $5,000 a month, I know that they're at the networking event happy hours drinking beer at 5 o'clock at this place, and this place. So why am I at home at 5 o'clock making reels that's gonna pay me less than $300 when my $5,000 client is down the street at the networking event? So that's what I mean about reflecting on what it is that's your big money making things versus not. Actually literally go through your money. Like, okay, when I do this, it makes me this much money, but when I do this, it makes me this much. When I make the reels, I get $15. When I go in person and network and actually go talking to some people at these big events, I make $5,000. So I'm not going to spend all my time sitting here making these reels that's going to pay me $15 when I know that the big money skill is something else. Because then once I got that $5,000 a month coming in, guess what I can do? I can pay somebody, I can pay my assistant to make those little reels on the page for me. So that's what I mean by like separating your time. You just got to get to that point where 20% of what you do is making 80% of your income, or you're going to drive yourself crazy. You're going to be, like I said, you're going to end up being this person that's always busy, but the money doesn't reflect, and it just feels like nothing's really getting done. And it's because you're doing all these minuscule tasks like admin stuff that's not getting you paid. Does anyone want to comment to that, Miss Shamila?
Let me help y'all, because I don't know the age group here, but I will be 50 in November. And listen, I am a mom. I'm a new wife. I've been married a little over a year. I got 2 kids. I have 6 bonus kids. And when it comes to, I'm a motivational speaker, author, entrepreneur, all that. I'm a veteran, all that's good stuff, right? And I thrive on living a conflict-free life because I have one rule of theory when it comes to balance. And that is, balance is overrated. Jot this down, be who you need to be when you need to be it. That's going to help you when it comes to entrepreneurship. That's going to help you when it comes to what we consider balance in your life. Be who you need to be when you need to be it. You're going to always be those titles and all those people, but sometimes they're going to slide on the scale. And then when you know, like Akila was saying, well, how do you figure it out? You're going to know that I don't want to be in this job for 10 more years. So you need to slide up entrepreneurship. It doesn't take away from you being the mom, the worker, the wife, the significant other, whoever you are. However, when you know that you have goals and these dreams and aspirations all the time, then you're going to have to slide some things. That's it.
Yes, I love that you mentioned that actually, because it brings me to the last point before we wrap this up, which is, and then we'll let Kira say what she has to say. The last point is, what sacrifices must you make to achieve your goals? I really love that because, obviously nothing in life comes without sacrifice. Everything ultimately has its pros and cons. And I think that if you really want to get to a level where you can earn a full-time income off of your business and what you do, I think that you really have to embody this. Like, you really have to take it serious. I started my first company at a young age at 21. I'm now 26, and I spent the last like 5 years doing this full time. And in a sense, a lot of sacrifices were definitely made, but I will say some of those things, it didn't, even though it's a sacrifice, because I want it so bad, it didn't necessarily feel like a sacrifice to me. Like, for example, during that like age frame, I'd say like during that age frame is a time where a lot of people, 21 and 25, they spend a lot of that time just having fun, like partying, going out, doing the normal young people things. And I'm not going to say that I didn't do that at all. I did, but I spent a lot of time at home on my computer working all night long, every single day. I did a lot of self-development work, reading different books, missing out on certain things, putting myself in certain areas like, no, I don't want to go to the party with y'all tonight because it's a networking event happening down the street, and some of my target audience might be there. Some, colleagues who might be able to be, I might be to partner with on events might be there. Some really good community connections might be there. So I spent my time going to these different things. Whereas, some of my counterparts are like, oh, you're being lame, you're doing this, you're doing that. But when you're really locked in and you're really focused, you got to get rid of those distractions. Even if that might be people, you might have to sacrifice some people. I had to sacrifice a lot of people to get to where I am. And what I mean by that more specifically is like, not everybody could come with me on this journey. Some people did not understand the direction that I wanted my life to go in. And they just, either it didn't resonate with them, or there was just, we outgrew each other, essentially. Like, the only things that you want to invite me to are things that don't align with this life that I see for myself, this new vision that I have for myself. right? So don't be afraid to like sacrifice your old self, right? Because some of those things are things that I really did used to enjoy doing in college. But once I got to a certain point with my career, I'm like, okay, I need to lock in with this. I need to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do for this. So definitely don't be afraid to sacrifice different things around you, even if that means like you getting a new circle of people. I think that you should definitely optimize your circle. I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs talk about like if you hang out with 3 millionaires, you'll be the fourth millionaire, right? Who was it? I'm gonna say it was Grant Cardone that said, "You're only gonna make as much money as the 5 people that you hang out with the most." I live by that. I live my life by that. I surround myself with people that not only support me genuinely, but I also support them and our lifestyles of where we want to go. We're like-minded individuals. That's the right word. We're like-minded individuals. We have similar goals of what we want to do. They might not be in the same industry, but we know that we want to reach a certain point within our careers, right? So those are the people that you need to find. And anybody that doesn't align with this new life, I'm not saying you gotta like just never talk to them again, but I am saying start paying more attention to who you're surrounding yourself with, right? And sometimes that can even obviously take accountability for yourself. But sometimes if things aren't looking right in your life, sometimes you gotta look around at who you with. Miss Kira.
Ooh, child, you said a mouthful. You hit a lot of points, but I want to just focus on maybe one or two of them. I love what you said about, paying attention to the things that actually give you a return on your investment, right?
Yes.
Because and this was a word for me today, and it's not that I'm not living it, I am living, but for me, social media does not give me a good return on my investment. My website is actually my passive income. Like all the folks that come to me, so my business is publishing, right? Book publishing. So I do book publishing. That's my after hours business. I have a 9 to 5 and then I have an after hours business. So my after hours business is I self-publish my own children's books, and then I do author coaching. I just added that as an add-on service. Eventually I'll add ghostwriting on there too. And the coaching business that I've been doing has been really flourishing. It's actually taking over from the book selling. And the referrals I get are not referrals I'm getting from social media. These are not people that are reaching out to me because they're followers on social media. Because I ask everybody that I do a discovery call with, how did you learn about my business? And they said they just literally Google searched me, and I came up. And so I came to the point where I had to say to myself, my social media is not selling my books. My social media is also not helping me with my recruiting clients or business for my author coaching. What am I using social media for? So I came to terms with the fact that I'm not going to spend as much time with my business when it comes to social media. If I post on my social media page, and my page, if anyone wants to follow me, is Books to Inspire. So books, the number 2 Inspire on Instagram and Facebook. Shameless plug, but I'm not going to be spending, the social media coaches like, oh, you need to post, once a day, and you need to, they gave you the guidance, and you need to have 25 to 30 hashtags and all of that. And I drank the Kool-Aid, and I did all the things, and I would say probably only around the time when George Floyd was killed and everybody was about, buying Black owned this and Black owned that. Yes, I saw a spike. And then when the recession hit, because we are in a recession, around end of 2022, early 2023, it just went down from there. And for me, I feel like social media suppresses so much of your content right now as a business owner. Unless you are paying for ads, your stuff is not going to get seen. It's only going to get seen by maybe 20% of your audience, even if you have a large following. And so we have to kind of go back to the tried and true ways of getting our business out there. Like you said, taking yourself down the street to the bar where you see, the clients that their high-end clients at, versus spending 2 hours on a social media post that's going to give you just maybe 5 or 10% of what you would get from them. They got to think smart, not hard. not that we can't have a social media presence, but how much time are we going to invest in that? If we are getting most of our money from social media, then that's different. Then you do want to spend the 2 to 3, maybe 5 hours sitting on social media and batching posts and all that. But if the social media is not giving you any sales, and it's been like that for a while, Insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. We have to look at different avenues. Maybe we need to go more networking events. Maybe we need to get a website so we can drive traffic to the website, or Google can drive traffic to us, because Google be Googling. I tell you, they be doing their thing. So we need to think about other avenues, because I think we got so stuck on social media, especially around the pandemic, that we've kind of lost sight of there's other avenues to get our business out there, and don't just focus on the ones, especially the ones that are not bringing you an ROI. Sometimes you have to just let that go. I do social media when I feel like it, for fun. I make a little post. I post maybe once a week or when the feeling strikes me, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I use AI for my captions now. I might spend maybe about 10 minutes making a video, maybe 10, depending if I get distracted, and I don't even look back to see what happened with it. If it does well and a lot of people like it and people make comments, great. If nobody makes comments and nobody likes it, that's fine too. Those are, I realize and recognize, and I'm sorry I'm going so on so long. I realize and recognize that social media for my business is not my target audience. And so I have to move on from there and find where my target audience is, and realizing that I might not even have to put as much work into it as I thought I did. Maybe I just let my website do its thing and focus my attention on updating that, and leave social media as a recreational activity. And then I'll land my plane there.
Yes, you're completely right. I agree with that 100%. If social media is what is making you the most money, spend the most of your time there. But if it's not, then you're spending the most of your time on the wrong thing. She's not, Kira's not saying to just abandon social media altogether. She's just saying, zone in on what's actually making you the money, and start figuring out how you can make enough money to start outsourcing that little stuff. But thank you so much, everyone. That is my lesson for today. I hope everyone left with at least one gem. I'm going to turn it over back to Miss Tamet. And, if you want to chat with me some more about any of these different subjects, follow me at QMF Agency, website qmfagency.com. And yes, thank you so much for your time.
Great job, Q. Great job. Y'all, this was so good.
Thank
This
you.
was so good. I hate that we had to wrap it up. Taylor, I think I saw your hand up, but if you could type it in the chat, I know you got something good. But y'all, we have another facilitator tonight, and he has 2 lessons to cover. And so I was like, we gotta wrap up. But it was just, you guys sharing was just so beautiful, and it was some good stuff. So if you need a break, put a 2 in the chat. If not, we can keep going and knock this out. I like to respect folks' time. Let's do like a 3-minute break, run to the restroom real quick. Get our hearts and minds. Okay, we got to keep going. All right, let's vote it out then. Shoot. Any others for break or keep going? 7:55.
Let's keep it going.
3-minute break. I'm getting breaks. All right, so in this break, I'm gonna play a little music. Put your information in the chat if you haven't. I'll be typing some things in, making sure that if you're gonna do this pitch competition, which I think you all should. I don't see why not. Only person that's gonna get in the way of it is you. And again, that pitch competition is on August 1st. So I'm gonna do my little shameless plugs for about 2 more minutes, and then we'll get started with Mr. Bruce Waller, who will be bringing to you lesson 4 and 5. Y'all, if y'all feel like this is going fast, it is. This is a lot of content that I have squeezed into 4 weeks. And while 4 weeks sounded like a long time, as you can see, it is flying by. So we're at the halfway mark. This is my first time squeezing this in. So thank you for joining me on this pilot here. But I see I might need to go back to what did I do before? I think it was 6 weeks. No, we met twice a week. That's what it was. We met on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so I was trying to get us in before the school started. You know, for those who have kids, I have kids. So before we got started, I wanted to go ahead and get this in for y'all. So I just crammed it into once a week. But I think I need to go back to twice a week. I am on Instagram. Please feel free to follow me at Safari Solutions. Y'all, this computer, I've been having all kind of typos. I really can't spell. Safari_Solutions. On Insta. I'm on LinkedIn. Feel free to leave a review. If you have a 5-star rating, I would not be mad. Feel free to leave a Google or Facebook review. I would not be mad. I do have a Facebook group for Fall Forward participants. So you guys are our second cohort in that space. So you'll be receiving more details about that. It is 7:55. Bruce got some gems. I hope you got some pen and paper ready. Q, you already set the tone. You set us up high, so we're going to go even higher. I'm going to turn it over to Bruce now. Thank you all for your attention.
Yo, this was awesome. Shout out to Q, man. She most definitely on her game, and I most definitely just was reminded of the 80-20 rule. Most definitely is something that I live by. So thank you for that reminder and putting it in the space, because that is legit. So shout out to you, Q. That was dope.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, money making activities is important. All that other stuff is fluff. If you're not making money, it doesn't make sense. You're in business to make money. If you're not making money, it does not make sense. So people in it, well, I'm not in it for the money, then why are you in business? And I'm keeping it very matter of fact, because I had to break out of my heartstring when it came to business, because I'm a social entrepreneur. So I love solving problems, and I still love to monetize. And a lot of people getting into this space without the bottom line of understanding, if you're going to be a full-time entrepreneur, you have to make a living, and you should make a whole lot of money, because you can bless people the way you want to bless them. If God told you to have dominion, and he told you to be subdue it, be fruitful, multiply, then you should do all of that in your business and in your family, and be able to connect people to their purpose. And you should be able to bless people how you want to bless them, and take them where you want to go. It is most definitely a must, and is necessary and needed, and is a part of your glory strand. All right, I'm gonna just dive straight in, because I only got till what, 8:50. What was the time? Lord, I'm make sure I did this right.
8:30.
8:30. I'm about to crush this joint. All right, so I took what Temet gave me, and I just revamped it. All right, so we're gonna dive straight in. What happened to the thing? Give me 1 second, y'all. I thought I had it. I was ready. I done deleted it and everything. Lord, that's crazy. All right, cool. But again, this was totally awesome. Let me go back to the history. I had it at the place on. I'm gonna start off with this video. Shout out to Myron Golden. I love Myron Golden. I hope y'all listen to him. I listen to him religiously. Myron Golden, my dog, and I'm gonna put y'all on this brief minute spot that I want y'all to listen to. Yeah, Myron Golden is dope. So I want you to listen to this. I'm gonna kick it off with this. All right. Can y'all see this? All right. Let me know when you can hear it. Temet, you can tell me.
I believe
Yes.
that rich people are not rich because we have money. Rich people have money because we are rich. So becoming rich shows up before the money shows up. Okay. Now, what does that even mean?
Listen to this,
Okay, let me
y'all.
break it down.
Super important.
What happens is we have beliefs about money, and our beliefs create our life. And so what you believe about the primary purpose for money, and I left all my money in my closet in my office. Can you grab my wallet out of my closet, Karina? Okay. So what I believe about the purpose of money is going to determine how much money I make, how much money I keep, how much money I have, whether or not my money's working for me or whether or not I'm working for my money. My beliefs are the thing that determine that. And so I'm going to give you three different beliefs about money. I'm going to give you the poor person's belief. I'm going to give you the middle class person's belief. I'm going to give you the wealthy person's belief about money. So the poor person believes that the primary purpose of money. So
Write
if you're
this
taking notes, I'm
down.
going to say it again. The poor person believes the primary purpose of money is paying bills.
Write it down.
Okay. So if you believe the primary purpose of money is to pay bills, and all of your thoughts about money are, how can I make enough money to pay my bills? You will always be poor. Now, you can be poor and be thinking about how you're going to pay your bills, but until you change your focus on the purpose of money, you will never have more money than just barely enough money to pay your bills. It's just how it works. Okay. By the way, can I give you a little mindset hack for that, or a way to do that? So pick a number like of monthly income, an amount of monthly income that in your mind would be a good amount. Okay. And that would be really nice for you to have, and then double it. Okay. Everybody got that number? Okay. So I want you to pretend that you made that amount. Let's say a good number in your mind was $6,000. Man, if I just made $6,000, I'd be okay. Okay, cool. That's good. So then you double it, it's 12,000. Okay. And then you say, okay, by the end of 24, my business is only going to be at 12,000 a month. So you take the number that you thought was twice as big as a good number, and you put only in front of that number. And so now you're taking that number that you used to think was big, and now you're making it smaller. And when you make it smaller, that makes you bigger. So people say, like, Myron, how much does your business do? Our business only does, like, on average, 1.3, 1.4, 1.6 million a month. Only. Now, if you don't understand what I'm doing, you'll think I'm trying to flex.
Right.
But what I'm doing is I'm programming my subconscious mind not to think that $1.5 million a month is a lot of money. Why? Because I learned something before I ever had my first $1 million year. I learned this principle. Seldom will I make as much as, never will I make more than the amount I allow myself to think of as a lot of money. I'm going to say it again. Seldom will I make as much as, never will I make more than the amount I allow myself to think of as a lot of money. So if you desire to make six figures, you can't afford to think six figures is a lot of money. If you desire to make seven figures, you can't afford to think seven figures is a lot of money. Even before you start making that amount of money, you have to turn it into an only in order for it to even become a possibility or a likelihood. Hopefully that makes sense. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Yes? Okay. So poor people think the primary purpose of money
more people
is for paying
now,
bills.
then we're gonna
So they
stop
think, it can stay there. It can stay there. It's just, I was looking for something in my wallet. I lost a $5,000 check.
I know.
And, but it's okay. It was made out to me in the bank, so nobody can cash it. So if you think the primary purpose of money is to pay bills, you're going to work really, really hard. If you make $25 an hour, you're going to work 4 hours to make one of these. You make $20 an hour, you're going to work 4 hours to make one of these. And then as soon as you get it, you're going to hand it over to somebody else. So I want you to really wrap your mind around what I'm about to say. For most people, payday is not really payday. It's just transfer day. And so if you desire to create wealth, you have to stop letting payday be transfer day. You got to make sure payday is the day, not just your bills get paid, but that you get paid. Hopefully y'all tracking. Okay. Okay. So that's the first one. Poor people think the primary purpose of money is paying bills. Middle class people think the primary purpose for money is paying their bills on time so they can maintain good credit. So now they can buy things they don't have enough money for because they can buy them on credit and pay the payments on time. So they think the primary purpose of money is maintaining good credit so they can buy things they can't afford, don't need, so they can impress people they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And half of them don't like you anyway. Okay. So that's what poor middle class people and poor people think are the primary purpose for money.
More.
Most of most of the money of poor people goes to paying bills. Most of the money of middle class people goes to buying what I call WRLs. What's a WRL? A wealth reducing liability. Most of the money of rich people, even before you are rich financially, if you develop this mindset, you can get, everybody listen to me, you can get rich today just by changing what you believe about the primary purpose of money. You can go from being a poor person to a rich person today. And here's how. You believe the primary purpose of money is to turn it into what I call an IPA. What's an IPA? An income producing asset.
That's for rich people.
So the primary purpose of money is to make more money. So my primary purpose when I get $100 is to turn it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, $1,000. Now, if I can turn 100 into 1,000, now this money, I held on to it. See, I don't save money for the purpose of saving money. I hold on to money long enough for it to get pregnant and have some babies.
All right, I think that's good right there.
And I never spend the mama money. I only spend the baby money. So I don't spend the money I make to pay bills. I only spend the money my money makes or my businesses make to make money, to pay bills. I don't work for money to pay bills. I'm not going to do that.
Perfect. All right, cool. So y'all got it. You got, yeah, that was good. Shout out to Myron Golden. So you got poor people, you got middle class people, and you got rich people, and you have to get your money pregnant. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off because I know we don't have a whole lot of time. So I'm gonna pack this joint with everything. I don't know if y'all can see my screen. Let me get it rolling. Cool. All right. So I wanted to give a shout out to Met. Thank you to Met. Most definitely is doing something in this space, and I hope this conversation bless you. We're gonna have a really great conversation, and my job is to impart into you. Impartation for me is the fastest way to get information to you. So you're gonna feel my information in your nervous system, and then your brain will catch up later, okay? So you're going to feel it in your nervous system because your nervous system has receptors to receive information too. So you're going to feel stuff in your body as I'm talking. You're going to feel it, and then you're going to meditate on it, and then it's going to be a blessing to you later. All right, cool. So,
Bruce, can you hit the got it for the presenter window? Because we're just still seeing presenter window got it.
Oh Lord, what is it doing? Okay. What do y'all see?
Okay, and so we're seeing your notes, where we can see your notes and we can see the PowerPoint.
We're gonna rock it just like this.
Dude, you could do the present full screen, yeah.
Yeah, it's doing weird stuff. All right, cool. All right, so just a little bit about me. I'm a community school strategist, nationally known marketing strategist. I'm innovator and award winner. I'm a military veteran. I've done a lot of great work. I just tell people if you want to learn more, just type in my name and type Bruce Waller, AVL, Bruce Waller, Black Wall Street, and you can learn a lot more about what I do. But I really want to get into the meat and potatoes of this content and really help you change your belief system. The belief system is what regulates everything about your life. Your belief system, as soon as your brain engages with knowledge, and we're talking about pursuit of knowledge, and we're going to talk about building wealth. As soon as your brain receives the knowledge, it then goes into a place called your belief system, and then that becomes your worldview. So we talked about 3 levels of money. With Myron Golden kind of set the tone. Whatever you believe whatever you believe the purpose of money is, that's what it shall be, because that's how God designed you. That's how you were designed, whether you believe in God or not. It is yours. I call it the psycho-cybernetics. It is the way that your technology is designed. Whatever you receive to be true, it is true to you, and it will control how you look at wealth, how you look at knowledge, how you look at people, how you look at entrepreneurship. So it's super, super important you get into the rooms that you are designed to be in so you can receive a different worldview. The word world means, I told y'all this last time, means orderly arrangement of things. The word world, W-O-R-L-D, means orderly arrangement of things. And every person has a different worldview, right? Would y'all agree with that? Put ones in the group chat. Y'all gonna move with me quickly through this because I'm just gonna impart. I'm gonna give you this information and it's gonna change your life forever. Put ones in the group chat really quickly because I need your energy up. All right, if you have a different worldview, then how you engage with the earth or how you engage with people is different. So that means if a poor person and a rich person are in the same room, they see something completely different. Are y'all following? Right? Are y'all following? So if I were an artist, if I was standing next to a non-artist and we looked at the same canvas, the non-artist would say that's ugly, but the artist would say that is beautiful. What controls that perspective? Their worldview, what knowledge and repetition that they receive by working through a thing, whether they are a master at art or whatever, they then made that their worldview. And so when we talk about pursuing knowledge, it's super, super important for you to understand, yes, knowledge is power. Why? It's because when you receive knowledge, it becomes a part of your belief system. And when something becomes a part of your belief system, it then becomes your worldview. Now, I'm supposed to have up the notes, but Timet, I'm gonna flow, okay? That's cool, because I know all I got till, is that okay? A little bit?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna make sure. All right, y'all ready to flow with me? All right, cool. So I'm just gonna flow and I'm just gonna pick up what's in the room. And as we talking, and as we engage on these conversations, we're gonna do that. So the power of knowledge, we talk about the aha moment, which I call the epiphany moment, planning for success, word of caution, knowledge to berries, these different things. It's super, super important that you understand that your belief system is what controls what you see and what you don't see. What you see and what you don't see. If you are not an entrepreneur or had not received this knowledge, are not getting on these calls, are not in these rooms, it doesn't matter if I put $1 million in front of you, you would not know what to do with it, only to pay bills. The poor person is not a shot at a person. The poor person is a mindset around how they think money should operate. A middle-class person, we talking about for y'all entrepreneurs. Your money should be impregnated at all times, and it should be creating money for you at all times, because your worldview or your perspective about entrepreneurship should be different. I know we had some questions in here. I had a whole thing in my mind, right? But I want to ask you all a question, but as we are diving in, what is your perspective about how you should be running your business? Or what do you, let's scratch that. What do you believe entrepreneurship is? What is entrepreneurship to you? I know we talked about this in the first day with my bro, but I want to ask you again. We're going to have a conversation and you can put it in the group chat, but what is entrepreneurship to you and why are you in it? My girl Q said, if you don't have a why, you don't have a way. What is your why? What y'all put in here? Money should be making money. Yep. Why are you doing this? Why are you in entrepreneurship? Somebody can come off mute. Tell me why you're doing this. What was your aha moment?
This is Felicia Jeffries.
Felicia, let's go.
I am the owner of More to Learn Academy, and my why is because public education will fail by federal design. And when it does, our community is going to need to have educational institutions already in place to serve what is happening. And because God told me to.
I know that's right. You better do it. I love that. Somebody else give me another one. Let me read some of these in the group chat. It's the ability to create your own opportunities for wealth building while also making a positive contribution back to society to help others. I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Ms. Thomas. All right, Taylor, for me, entrepreneurship is the practice of faith and works. Yes, allowing God to be my employer for real, for real. I love that. Give me another one. Y'all shoot it out here. Y'all give it to me as it's coming to you.
I got a why.
Go ahead. Let's shoot it.
If I have the knowledge, skills, and ability to make 6 figures for Fortune 500 companies, what can I possibly make for my own community and pass it on for generational wealth?
I love it. What Vaughn said, thank you for sharing that, Ms. Robin. Vaughn said, financial freedom. I know I'm not here to work for someone else's vision for life. Let me tell y'all something. Write this down. All of the reasons you gave me of why you're in entrepreneurship has nothing to really do with money. The real reason why you're in entrepreneurship because of the optionality that it gives you. Y'all can write that down. Building the platform for me and my, look at what people are saying. Your financial stability is important, but if you look at the reason why you want entrepreneurship is because it gives you options. You can work where you want to work. You can go where you want to go. You can bless who you want to bless. You're doing it for your family. Let's go through here real quick. You'll help freedom. You're talking about really leaning on God for real, really practicing your faith. It has nothing to do with money. Write this down. Money is the lowest form of revenue. Write it down. Money is the lowest form of revenue. If you're chasing money, money will always leave you. When you become rich, when you become wealthy, money is the lowest form of revenue. The highest form of revenue is relationships and wisdom. You can write that down. Lowest form is money. Highest form is relationships and wisdom. When you are in it for just money, you won't really achieve the heights of what you're trying to achieve. Everybody said on this call, they're seeing the types of social issues that are facing the education system. They're seeing the different types of things that's happening in their family. They want to be more available for their family. They want to take care of their family. They want to travel or you want to travel. It gives you options. When you think about why you're in it, it should always surpass the dollars that come with it. Money is the lowest form of revenue. Money is the word currency. And I told you what a currency is last time. Currency is current. So it moves. It's a river. It moves where it's told to go. Money doesn't have is not biased. It just moves in structures and entities that are attractive. When you are in it just for money, money will always leave you. When you're in it higher than money, relationships, things that God has shown you, imagination, it makes you feel good. Entrepreneurship is your vehicle to help you manifest. I'm just reading what you said. Entrepreneurship is a vehicle to manifest the vision God has given me to fulfill my life purpose in the marketplace and be a blessing to others while generating generational wealth for my family. Y'all see these reasons why? That should be your reason why every day. Yes, you need to make money making activities. 80% of this game, y'all, and I learned this the hard way. 80% of this game is 80% psychological, 20% technical. 80% psychological, 20% technical. The real game is getting in your mind and really believing a dangerous dream bigger than anything that you can imagine. And you say, I'm going to do that. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do that. Why do people like that? Because it's put in your DNA. It's put in your DNA to do something so crazy, something that nobody in your family line has done. You might be the first real successful or will be the first real successful entrepreneurship because you have been thinking about when I step into this life, what does it bring me? Where am I going to go? Who can I bless? How things are going to look for me? Your life is changing as you're doing this. I love entrepreneurship. It changed everything about me. It changed my situation, financial situation. It changed my family dynamic. It's changed how I engage with my wife and changed how I engage with my daughter and changed how I engage with my grandma, my family, everybody that I love. That's why I did it. Entrepreneurship presses out glory. Write that down. Entrepreneurship presses out glory. And I just say glory, and I can say this, I say this in any room. Glory is just the full expression of a thing. Write it down. Entrepreneurship presses out glory. Glory is what? The full expression of a thing. The reason why you really want to step into entrepreneurship because it presses out glory. Everything about you wants to see how far you can go. What is your capabilities? How far you can really take it. Is this helping you? Put ones in the group chat if this is helping you. I'm imparting information in you because you only got to 8:45, right? So I just impart. The impartation is faster than information. Impartation is faster than information. Impartation is faster than information. So just a secret, if you only got 30 to 45 minutes in the space, just imparting people. Just like knock the wheels off it. And I do this in any space. I will always do this. This is how I deliver. But if I had a little bit more time, I'll really dive into teaching. Thank you so much. All right, cool. Look, let's check it out. All right, cool. So formal versus informal learning. I want to ask a question. What does this mean to you? What is formal learning and what's informal learning? Just want to have a conversation. Who does best with formal learning? Who does best with informal learning? All right, so just diving in, you can put your hand up, or you can just come on speaker. Formal learning versus informal learning. Who knows about it? And you can put some of your answers in the group chat too. We just want to have a conversation about this. Formal
I want
learning.
to say something about it.
Let's go ahead.
Formal to me would be like going to college or some type of trade school to learn a specific thing.
Yep.
Informal would be, you know, learning by an association with someone, you know, who's already in the field, apprenticeship, you know, that type of stuff.
That's it. All right. And what's thank you for that. Is it Akila? Did I say that? Akila, thank you for that. So she gave formal learning. Somebody tell me quickly, what is informal learning? And y'all could put stuff in the group chat. We just bringing energy into this space. Go ahead. Because we learn, I'll teach y'all that later. Melanin, people with melanin, we just think different. I'll teach on that, Lord. I'm gonna just pause right there. When people who have a lot of melanin, they all right. I'm gonna just pause. Tell me what informal learning is. Somebody
So
come off.
informal learning is just learning from life experiences.
There you go. All right. So thank you so much for that. So formal learning is structures like school, class, apprenticeships, and informal learning is like everyday life. Based upon these two formats, what has been your biggest breakthroughs, or, you know, whether formal, informal learning, what has been your, you know, what's the best way that you learn and why? All right, Courtney, let's do it.
Informal learning is the best way that I have learned. For example, the position that I hold at my job, I don't have a degree, I have experience, and that's what got me in the door.
I love it. Somebody else, formal, informal learning. Thank you, Courtney, for sharing that.
I would say that formal learning can give you some basic foundational knowledge, but it's through the informal learning that you get the practical application, like the preparedness to be able to do the thing.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Some of your, depending on where you are, for me, some of your greatest gains is going to come through life experiences, and some of your other greatest gains will come through some of sitting down and really didactically learning something, breaking it down, opening up the text, and moving forward with that. Yeah. So don't be mad. Transferable skills. Yeah. Transferable skills. Yeah. Look.
No, I was going to say informal learning is more impactful because it's personal, and you never forget it when it's personal.
Yeah, you won't. I'm going to tell y'all this now. If you stepping into this space as an entrepreneur, you're going to have a whole lot of informal learning. You're going to learn every day from your mistakes. You're going to learn every day from the people you engage with. Like, as far as how I set up my business models, I have learned that from all of the different conversations, the run-ins, the diving head first into stuff, pausing, I have learned from my informal learning. Now, my formal learning, when I have stepped into spaces, that's me going to the different types of conferences I've been to, stepping into an 8-day series or something like that. Those have helped me. But your biggest breakthroughs, or for me, my biggest breakthroughs have always been informal learning. And I continue to learn that way, the best way. And I always know how to take formal learning at its best. The way that you learn, especially you as an entrepreneur, the way that you learn is super, super important, that you understand how you learn, because you always have to be growing in this space. You always have to be growing. You always have to be learning. Always have to be growing and always have to be learning. If you know for sure that you can't sit down and read books all day, you might want to transfer that to an Audible, or you might want to transfer that to a video. Understand how you learn. I know that I'm going to ask the question, how do you learn? What you put it in the group chat? Are you a kinesthetic learner? Are you an auditory learner? Are you a visual learner? What type of learner are you? Understand that. I need all three. Okay, I got you. I need all of them. That's why videos are great. Oh, for me, it's really good. So people say they're visual, formal, auditory. Okay, cool. I'm a very much a visual learner. Yeah, I got to put my hands to it. Once you understand how you learn, you need to stay in that space. If people are telling you, like I heard somebody say earlier, drinking the Kool-Aid, right? When you drink the Kool-Aid of another success story, of another person that say, hey, I did this, and you try to do that and you know it does not work for you, you have to find your learning space on how you actually absorb information. Because once information is absorbed, it then sets into your belief system. And then that becomes involuntary. So if you learn some bad information and you believe it, it becomes involuntary because now it becomes a part of your subconscious. And when your subconscious is actually an involuntary mechanism of secretly directing you to make bad decisions. So if whatever learner you are, I want you to protect that gate. I don't know why I'm saying this, but I want to say this. Be careful what you learn. You got a whole bunch of dancing bears in this entrepreneurial space that's just scheming and taking your money. They're scheming and taking your money. Be careful what you learn. Protect how you learn, because the people, especially as a new entrepreneur, as you're stepping out into this space, be careful who you learn from. I love how Q said it. Do you have any experience in this space? She's protecting her eye gate, her ear gate. She's protecting her mind. How do you think she got there? I can tell you how she got there to her success. She's been protecting what she's been listening to. Protect your ear gate, your eye, protect what you see, protect what you hear. When you protect what you see and what you hear, you have no time for that. Write this down. It's not what you say yes to that defines you. I said this to y'all before, but what you say no to. It's not what you say yes to that defines you, but what you say no to. So when you are in different spaces, in places, learning how to do the game of entrepreneurship, because it is a game, you need to protect what you put in your ear gate and what you would receive with your eye gate. All right, cool. All right, what's this? All right, cool. How does, question, go ahead. How does knowledge influence your choices? How does knowledge influence your choices? You can raise your hand. I think I can see everybody, but going into the next phase of this, and I then it's
I would love to answer this if y'all can hear me. Sorry, I'm
go for it.
Commute. But it's Quinice, everyone. I think that knowledge for me personally, it influences me. It gives me more confidence. That's what I'm trying to say. The more that I know, the more confident I feel in the situation. It doesn't mean that I don't have like self-doubt sometimes or the occasional imposter syndrome. However, like I feel like typically that comes from a place of lack of confidence. And like I said, like when I know what I'm talking about and I know what I'm talking about, that just I move more confidently and people can see that.
I love that. Thank you, Q. I appreciate that. Someone else. How does knowledge influence our choices? When you know, absolutely. Anyone?
I would say something a little different. I would say the school systems are set up to groom us in the area in which we are, like, here, everything in North Carolina, everything's mostly tech. So they're not going to teach you about agriculture. But if it's in your heart to be a farmer, you're not going to make those type of decisions because you haven't been groomed that way. Sometimes you stick to what you know. And you got to be careful about not, exploring, because you got to widen your horizon, especially if you're looking to do something outside of the box.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Robin. I appreciate you. This is good, y'all. Come on, somebody else give me another one. Move quickly on it. Yeah, because you feel you want to say it. Let's say it. How does knowledge influence your choices or our choices?
What comes to my mind is a scripture that says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." And I believe that not having knowledge is causing people to not be who God called them to be and walk in their divine purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm loving it. This is good, y'all. So good. Knowledge makes you feel confident. Without knowledge, you cast off restraint, or you lose direction. Without the proper knowledge, you can't even make the right type of strategic direction for a system or a school system. Knowledge is powerful, and you have to be aware of how you're receiving it, right? Back-it, I believe. Yep, that is it. It's a back-it. My people perish due to the lack of vision. Yep. I love it. Cool. Reflect on this. I never lose, I either win or learn. That's Nelson Mandela. I love that. I never lose, I either win or learn. I always say this. I say this a different way. I say failure is your tuition to greatness. Failure is your tuition to greatness. Why do I say that? I think I've told y'all before with Satan in the book that I told y'all to read, Napoleon Hill. Y'all remember that book, How to Outwit the Devil? Napoleon, that Satan said, I cannot mess with the individual that doesn't see failure as an option, but failure is a pass through to greatness. Failure is just a protector to greatness, right? So anytime that I, quote unquote, had a failure, it was never a failure. It was tuition. I paid it, whether it was time, energy, attention, or money. My failure was my tuition. It was not a say all be all. I have made many mistakes. Who made mistakes in business? Put a one in the group chat. If you made a mistake, let me put some ones in the group chat too. If you made mistakes in business, put ones in the group chat right now. I want to know. Tell on yourself. Shame the devil. Look, shame whoever. Look, listen, for every mistake that you make, you put a new, I'm going to say this, I hope y'all catch it. You put a new wrinkle in your brain. How does the brain receive information? Once it passes through, right? You made 1,000 mistakes, or they say you made 1,000 mistakes, right? Thank you for putting that in there. I can't help but just teach, preach, and connect information. It just is in me. It just in me, right? So I just know I ain't had a long time. So anytime you make a mistake, or and this is in that book, Cybernetics. Y'all got to read the book, man, because it's the code. Anytime you make a mistake and you know the better action, your brain already autocorrects. It starts to, like, if you threw this way, y'all can't see my hand, but if you threw the dart that way, right? But you're supposed to throw it this way, and you know that in your imagination, but you keep throwing it this way. Eventually, you are going to autocorrect unknowingly to throw at the bullseye. It's an autocorrection already built in you. So failure, to those who y'all heard the word fail fast? The reason why they say fail fast is because you get closer to the autocorrection that's already built in you to win. You are designed by just mechanics to already win. Like, I done spent money on this. Dang, I done spent money on that. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, I got a little bit of money from that. Okay, eventually, I'm not saying to make a whole lot of mistakes, but as soon as you make the mistake, you have already created a new avenue of thought. And that new avenue of thought eventually gets you to the bullseye. They say Jordan is one of the greatest to do it. LeBron is one of the greatest to do it, right? But if you study how many shots they miss, y'all know about that, right? They say 30,000 shots he may have missed, but he put in 100,000 shots. Be willing to take the shot, even if you miss it. Eventually, you will autocorrect. All right, go ahead, Q.
I love that, Bruce. One of my quotes that I always say is, and if any of my people are on here, I always say winners gonna win. Like, I don't even use the word failure. I don't even use the word lose.
Let's
I
go.
always just say winners, they gonna win. Because at the end of the day, if, like you said, you're gonna autocorrect, you're gonna get to where you're trying to go. So you don't even have to look at it like you losing or whatever. Like, if you're gonna win, you're gonna win, period.
Winners don't focus on winning. I have read that, yes. One of the greatest teams in soccer, or was a rugby. I forgot where they were, New Zealand. They crazy with it. They wear all black. And when they win, they don't even celebrate because it's just it's natural. Now, I'm not telling you, you might not be there yet, but winning should be natural. It should just be a part of your autocorrection, a part of your makeup. You are a winner, regardless of the situation. All right, we 8:33. Give me 5 more minutes. Give me 5 more minutes. All right, you're designed to win. All right, I want y'all to do this really quickly. I like to do things fast because successful people take action fast. Myron Golden said it's the best. Success loves speed. Success loves speed. I want you to write this down because you need some urgency in what you do. The other problem that it is, I don't teach people to go to make money. I teach people the proper behaviors and habits that automatically make money. And one of those things y'all need is to put some pep in your step. I don't know all of y'all and what you do, but one of the habits is putting some urgency behind what you do. I want you to do this quickly. Write down 5 things you should do this week to make your business successful. Go ahead and write it down right now. You already know what it is. You can type it in your notes. You can write it down. All right. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to do that because let it flow because I'm teaching you how to flow. Prosperity is flow. It's not just didactic like that has a place. But like I told y'all before, it's 80% psychological, 20% technical. You can get the technical skill. Anybody that doesn't know entrepreneurship, I can teach you some of the things. We can teach about profit and loss. We can teach about supply and demand. We can teach about the root square of your work, which is the 80-20 rule that Q talked about. That we can talk about the price of law. We can talk about those different things. But if you really want to take it there, you got to put some fire in you, right? So write down the 5 things and share it right there in the group. Put some, I'm in the field. I'm in my field, mistake not allowed. But once we found it's a mistake, we change it to a new style. Wow. So we say mistakes make you perfect. Yo, that's a bar. Let me see. Y'all read that. That joint crazy what he just said. I love that. The mistake we change is to a new style. So we say mistake makes you perfect. There are no mistakes. So write down the 5 things. Once you've done that, I want you to underline 3 things you want to do. This goes back to money-making activities. So if you write down 5 things, write down the 5 things you think you need to do. Your perspective will change over time. Trust me. You will autocorrect. It's built in you. Your brain is built to be successful. It's so crazy when you study it. And then underline 3 things you want to do and circle the 1 thing you will do. And once you do that, put in the group chat what you're going to do. This is the thing you're going to do this week. No matter what, come hell or high water, sink or swim, you're going to do this 1 thing this week. You should, want, and will. All right. All right, make that social media post on LinkedIn. Boom, come on, y'all put it in the group chat. You're going to do 1 thing. Cold pitches, I love it. Yup, that's what I be doing. That's what I focus on, Q, all day. I just making connections. I'm going to teach you how to obtain high-level clients. I just closed like $4 grand a day, just in 30-minute conversation. $2 grand the other day. Customer discovery calls. I love it, Rich. Yes. Come on. Celebrate your wins. All right. We got to come on. We got like 15 of y'all in here. Don't be scared now. Just put your 1 thing out there. Make new connection. All right. Schedule a recording session. Perfect my elevator pitch. Make new connection. All right. Give me 2 more because I'm already over time. Get a copy of my teacher's license to finish the voucher process. Yes, that's getting you closer to money. Sign a new client. Finish my business launch timeline. Events page for my website. Come on, come on. To those who haven't put in it, I love this. You're going to do this week. I'm going to tell you something. Habits run the world. Y'all doing it. Habits run the world. If you put something out there, the reason why I made you put it out here is because it creates natural accountability. Everybody on here is looking at what you say. Success habits run the world. if you say you're going to do something and you don't do it consistently, you create a bad habit. And eventually that bites you in the butt. Man, Lord, have mercy. I kind of already went over this a little bit, because Myron Golden kind of crushed that. What you think, Tamet? We kind of opened that up, and I've been talking about it through the whole thing. But just learn. You can put this in the group chat. Entrepreneurs learn to manage their expenses, handle credit, and leverage their abilities to create sustainable wealth, regardless of where they start. Do y'all believe that's true or false? I already know the answer.
Can you repeat it?
Right here in front of you. Entrepreneurs learn to manage their expenses, handle credit, and leverage their abilities to create sustainable wealth, regardless of where they start. Do y'all believe that's true or false? And why?
True.
All right, cool. True. All right. And I want one person to come off mute. Matter of fact, let's rock with you, Courtney. Why you put true? For you.
Count on me.
You participating.
Yes. Well, if you want to manage or own something, you have to be able to manage those things, because those are the most important aspects of a business. If you can't manage expenses, if you can't handle money well, how are you going to run a successful, I mean, you might have a business, but it's not going to be successful if you can't manage your money. And credit as well.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? That's good. Thank you so much.
If an entrepreneur doesn't do all these things all of the time, they're not an entrepreneur, they're a wantrepreneur.
Okay. I love it. All right, somebody put false. Tell me why. Jay, tell me why you put false.
That was me, Jamila.
Jamila, yeah.
The key for me was regardless of where you start. Those things may be true, but regardless of where you start, that is what makes it false to me.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I believe that yes, there's true that you need to know how to manage your expenses, handle credit, and leverage their abilities to create sustainable wealth. Like, I believe that is true. Sorry, my daughter then came down. That's my cue, y'all. All right. So regardless of where you start at is super important. And most people in this space starting at the bottom. And this is just for me, before I'm teaching them how to manage their expenses and handle credit and leverage their abilities to create sustainable wealth, I'm first working on their mindset, depending on where they start. Depending on where you are, we can work on that. But this question right here is how you view it. You may be ready to manage more of your expenses, handle credit, leverage your abilities, and create a sustainable wealth. Regardless of where you start, I don't believe that to be true in every aspect, because most people that I come across are startup entrepreneurs. So I love this. And Q, you can go forward.
Okay, I just wanted to add to it really quickly about the perspective of it, of like just starting from the bottom and then being able to get to that point. I would say yes, just because I feel like I started from 100% the bottom, didn't have any entrepreneur training, never had any business training at all. And, there was a lot of colleagues, a lot of people I came in contact with that just had way more money than me and had way more resources, and they had just a lot more everything. And none of those people could outwork me. They just can't. And it doesn't matter how much money they have. It don't matter the resources. They can't outwork me, because I'm gonna keep it pushing. It doesn't matter if I have money, not whatever. If I got to partner with other people so we can do the event, whatever it is, I just seen a lot of people with more resources and money not be able to do better than me. So I think that I personally feel like you can start from the bottom and then get to that point, where you are able to manage these things, and even do better than some of those people who originally had they still have more money than you, and you still do more than them, because it's a mindset thing, right? It don't have nothing to do with having money, not having money. It's all about, your mindset toward.
I love that. This is good, y'all. I am way over time, man. I had 8:30, we had 8:43. So I like to respect time, but I do want to say this, that entrepreneurship is about where you are right now. I told you it's 80% psychological, mental, 20% technical. You can learn these technical things, but for real, what I really want to put inside of you all is the proper habits and the necessary fire you need to achieve where you're trying to go. Like if you really want to scale and experience it 6 figures, going into 7 figures, 8 figures, wherever you are, I don't care if you want to make your first 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 in business. What you need is the necessary habits. Because if you have the habits, I can give you technical skill. Just like Q said, she said nobody can outwork her. So I can take a person like her that may not know a whole lot about entrepreneurship. Hold on 1 second, patience. That don't know a whole lot about entrepreneurship. But if she has some go in her, if she's willing to wake up on time, she's willing to manage her day. If I just give her the right information inside of the habits that she already has, then that person can build a lot of wealth. That person can build wealth based on habits. So I'm just gonna pause right there. Just open it up. Any thoughts or reflections on this? Thank you, Temet, for having me on this. Any thoughts, feedbacks on this conversation that anybody want to add?
I want to just share. I know we don't have time to talk about this, but I think that I have some pretty good habits. I think I plan out my day very well, but I'm dealing with a chronic health condition. I'm a single parent and I'm really experiencing burnout. And I know it's all about your belief system, but also realistically, I know that I need help. I just don't know where to get that help from.
Yeah, all you need is the technical skill. You just need the support. You have the habits. Yeah, right. Regardless of what you are experiencing. I one of my colleagues that worked with me in Black Wall Street, she has a really chronic sickness. Like she needs a lot of support. And I'm like, you need to chill a little bit. Like she was like, and she does take care of herself. And if she did not know something, we put her around the proper people that she needed to be around. So I think, Courtney, for you is just the technical skill, like the technicalities of business, leveraging credit, getting funding, you have your LLC for a certain amount of time, we can get you $50,000, those different things, but the habits are there. But most people that have come across, Courtney, and I hope I'm saying your name right, just people have not had the right habits. They have put the cart before the horse. Anybody else?
What do you do?
What do I do?
Yes.
Oh man. So I own a digital marketing agency, digital marketing agency. I focus on working with schools. Sorry, I did introduce myself briefly, but I'm trying to make it through it and I'm still over time. So I own a digital marketing agency. It's called Kairos Carolina Digital. We focus on working with community leaders. So I've done a lot of political events, community leaders, nonprofits, and schools. And what my focus is help people maximize their impact. So I'm a one-stop shop digital marketing agency, community development. And then I have a coffee shop, it's a co-working space called Grind here in Asheville. And I run a business incubator called Black Wall Street. We work with about maybe 200 businesses now, and we help them scale and grow, connect them to the proper resources they need. So I come across people in their space, depending on where they're on entrepreneurship. Sorry, y'all. My daughter came down. Nobody. All roles are off with her. That's what I do, and so I work with entrepreneurs to help them scale and grow.
I'd love to talk about the point, Bruce, that you mentioned in regards to when you were talking about just learning. I'd love to add on to that about like when it is. So I had this problem before where it was like I was learning all this information, right? Learning, but I wasn't taking action. And I feel like a lot of us get stuck there where it's like we keep learning, or we just keep asking everyone like, oh, you get connected to this person, you ask them, you get connected to the next person, and they're all giving you amazing feedback, but they're giving you things that you already knew because you've been studying the information. So like how, I want to just everyone to evaluate, like, how do you get past that point of feeling like you have to know everything before you actually start executing this information.
That's the problem, Q. That's analysis paralysis, I call it. You want to know everything before you start. You need to take and I tell people all the time, take the 30% of something you know and stretch that to 100% action. Because I know somebody that reads 100% of a book and only took 30% action. Does that make sense? Take your 30% and stretch it to 100% action versus reading a whole book and only take 30%. The more information, patient, can you stop? The information that you read, the information that you read, you have to work through before you start taking action. So the more things you ingest, the more things you have to digest, right? And things that you have to digest, you have to then, execute and making it happen. So if you're taking on too much information, take one part of a chapter. You know how many books I went through one chapter and I saw one nugget and I implemented it right there. Success, Love, Speed. I said, oh, I'm gonna do that right now. Shut the book and I go and implement it immediately. We have been taught, it's been a lie. We have been taught to do it the other way.
But see, actually, I feel like what you just said right there, I feel like that's the biggest difference between people who end up getting what they want and people who don't. And it really comes down to, like I said earlier, minimizing that time between the actual idea and the execution. Because I would say I'm the same exact way. If I read the book and he's talking about something about, making the reel better, making the video better, I close the chapter and be like, oh, about to make my video.
Exactly.
I'll read the rest of this later. And I feel like that fire that you said, that just passion to really want it, I feel like that's the biggest difference. Like, have you ever been talking to somebody about their idea, right? And maybe y'all have time to work on something and they're talking about it. You're like, oh, let's knock something out with it. And they're like, no, I don't do that right now. Do it later that's going to hold you back.
That's good. I appreciate that. Tamet, I'm passing it over to you. I'm just going to stop, put super breaks on it. Thank y'all so much. Back to you, Tamet. I appreciate y'all. If y'all enjoyed it, put flames fires in the group chat. If you got something out of this tonight, it lets me know that I at least gave something that was helpful.
You definitely gave more than just something. You gave a whole bunch. Thank you to everyone who is here on tonight and to our facilitators. Y'all, we are over time. I appreciate you. Give it up for yourself for being here. Give it up to our facilitators who met the challenge of cramming a whole bunch of information in a very short amount of time. And so without further ado, I'll go ahead and wrap it up. Y'all, I'll be sending out some emails, so just stay tuned for some further information. And I hope you have a good night. I'm not going to hold it up no more. I know we got babies. My baby's in there too. So y'all have a good night. And we'll see you next Tuesday.
All right, y'all.
Good night, everyone. Good night, everybody.